phrases and clauses. How do we tell the difference between the two? No, it's not about 50% chance of guessing. Well, a phrase is a group of words that does not contain a finite verb. And a clause is a group of words that does contain a finite verb. You might remember it by saying clause, cause, there's a finite verb. Well, if you don't know what a finite verb is, you're really going to struggle. So first of all, what is a finite verb? A finite verb can take a subject. That means I can put I, he, she, John, they, something in front of that verb and it will make sense. Here are some examples. Libango competed at the Olympics. Competed. Can I put a subject in front of competed? It makes sense. Libango competed. He competed. She competed. It makes sense. So competed is the finite verb. In the second sentence, will be swimming is the finite verb. Can I put something in front of that and it makes sense? Connor will be swimming. He will be swimming. Alex will be swimming. It makes sense. However, if I thought it was just swimming, I couldn't say Connor swimming. He swimming. Doesn't make sense. Third one, was raining. It was raining. So was raining makes sense. Here we've got an auxiliary verb, was, which is a helping word, shows tense, as opposed to is raining or will be raining. It was raining. So it's happened already. And I've got a present participle. And together those words create the finite verb. Insisted. The prefix insisted. He insisted. The teacher insisted. Makes sense? So insist is a finite verb. Run is a finite verb. Making on its own is not a finite verb because I can't say he making. The teacher making. Makes no sense. It's a present participle. It needs an auxiliary in front of it, like will and be or was or something, for it to be a finite verb. Here are some examples of non-finite verbs. Studying. Word ending in ing on its own, never a finite verb. To prove. Any time that you see a word that looks like a verb but it's got to in front of it like that, it's never a finite verb ever. That is called an infinitive. Was. In this case, was is not the finite verb because there's a present participle next to it. Was raining is a finite verb here. This on its own is an auxiliary. Again, making, word ending in ing, no auxiliary, cannot be a finite verb. Lastly, let's look at some examples now and see, with that knowledge, can we tell if it's a phrase or a clause? Because of his photogenic memory, well, there's no finite verb there, so that's a phrase. To hunt the buck early tomorrow morning. You may have thought that hunt is a finite verb, but it's got to in front of it, so it's not a finite verb. So there's no finite verb there, so that's a phrase. Because, by the way, planned would be the finite verb in that sentence. Tried his best to remember is a clause, because tried is the finite verb. To remember is not a verb, but there's a verb there, tried, so that's a clause. Lastly, the screeching of tires. Screeching, word ending in ing, no auxiliary in front of it, cannot be a finite verb on its own. So that is a phrase. I hope that has helped, guys. Remember, don't get confused between a phrase and a clause. The clause is the one that has the finite verb.